what is it like to be a woman leader? And my answer was always the same, which is, I don't know. What is it like to be a man leader? I think leadership values, they transcend gender, and good leadership is about caring about your people, creating a safe space that they can grow and learn, but also encouraging them to grow, to be uncomfortable so that they can grow, because comfort is the enemy of growth. And I've not often, maybe it's because of my time in the Marine Corps, or I've not often looked at my leadership style as inherently feminine or masculine. I look at it as what good, strong leaders, and I think good, strong leaders have a good balance of both, frankly, on both sides, no matter what your gender is. And I love our values. The giver's gain, it resonates with me deeply. The two values that I spend a lot of time in is accountability and building relationships. And I've been married more than 40 years, and anyone who's been married knows you don't have a good relationship without accountability, and you can't build accountability without a good relationship. So I believe they go hand in hand. And I very much enjoy that here. And what I've been focusing on, my specialty is high growth organizations, is being able to scale an organization that's doing well and make it go faster and provide value to the stakeholders, which our members are our stakeholders, from how I view it. And so I do it by looking to bring in smart, talented people, promote smart, talented people, to simplify processes so that I think people will say, well, we need to make it easier. It's hard to make things simpler. You have to work really hard at that. So we've been doing a lot of that this year. That's why I put in our strategic pillars last year. Everyone in our organization's on a scorecard. There's a good book called The Power Score, PWR score by G.H. Smart, that talks about how you can align an organization that's highly distributed, which ours is, to all head in the same direction by having scorecards. So I have a scorecard, and everybody in our company and organization has a scorecard. We're finishing up our scorecards for 26 right now. And I share my scorecard with everybody and anybody, to include all the way up through the board, and our members, because I believe accountability goes both ways. And so that's what I see. I see one question on here, Madeline. You said, would I share the estimations for the future of BNI and the rapid development of AI? I'd be happy to. Let me start with this. I want to get us to 1 million members. I will not relax or sit back until we're at 1 million members. From the stage last year, I said, I want us to be at 1 million members by the end of 27. And leaders, I think leaders get too caught up in how are we going to do it before they set the vision. And I had people say, well, what if we don't hit it? I said, well, what if we do? So just like in the United States, President Kennedy said, we will put a man on the moon by the end of 1969. He didn't talk about how it was going to happen. He just said that it was going to happen. And so now we've been crunching numbers and seeing how we can do it, that by getting every region to launch 2 chapters, by having each chapter grow by 4 net new members, and some work that we can put behind it. We've hired a chief marketing officer, best in class chief marketing officer, who grew a brand to about 2.2 billion in 7 years, and knows how to do really smart marketing for both members and for franchisees. And as it pertains to AI, we have our global convention in Australia in 2 weeks. Actually, I will fly out in just about 2 weeks. And we are launching our first 2 AI projects. So we partnered with an AI company, and we are going to be offering up AI in many different ways to how our members connect, how our franchisees connect, how we serve up data. So we're going to launch, you're going to hear about it and see about it starting in about 2 weeks. I'm very excited about it. And we're going to, over time, offer up AI opportunities to our members that they could not do on their own by themselves. Where you'll be able to go through data, you'll be able to use AI to help you recruit people, you'll be able to use AI to search through your data, to do a better search at BNI. And we're also going to use it to connect you to one another. So if Nicole and I are members in the same chapter, and I am in a chapter, and the data says that Nicole is my best chance of having a great referral, it will come up and say, we've got Mary, your new member. We've looked at all your data, and we think you should do the first one-to-one with Nicola, because she's going to be the best one to do that. And it's going to use that to compare and to connect and say, which time would you like to meet with Nicola? Here's how you do it. And it would press a button and then make that connection. So part of that is being launched in the next month or so. And the second half of that is being launched in first quarter next year. So I'm very excited about that. Hopefully that answered your question. And, Martina, you asked about launching an international strategy as a member. Couple of thoughts. Right now, if you go into BNI Connect, there's in the center of BNI Connect, there's a tab that says community. If you click on that, you can start creating groups. And we have a number of people who are looking to connect internationally that are creating groups that are connecting. It's a great place to start. We have some more work to do on that to make it a little easier for you to connect there, but we do have about 1,000 different groups that are connecting very well on that, and I would recommend that. And then, Monica, you asked, in my opinion, what distinguishes truly strong networkers from those who are merely collecting contacts. My first answer, you're probably going to think, I know this, but you always say this. First one is really to live the giver's gain. The best networkers, they don't think about what they're getting. They think about how many people can they connect other people to. And it is a real science to that. And that's where the one-to-ones and that question, what can I do for you? How can I help you? You'd be stunned how much that will come back to you in the right way. And so, what does the best networkers, they start by learning how to connect this person to this person. They don't think about connecting themselves to somebody else. They think about connecting. There's a good book called Mastering the Complex Sale, and it talks about if you are seen as the answer or as the expert in what you're doing, people will buy more from you. And you don't have to be the expert in everything that you're doing. You have to be the expert in networking. And it works really well. So I hope that answered that question on that. So those are the questions that I can read so far that have come across. I do want to share something with all of you, if you don't mind. You may not know this, but all of you are zebras. Now, Doris, you're even wearing a good shirt that kind of makes you look like a zebra. And you don't realize that, and Rebecca, you are too, that you're zebras. Zebras look like horses, and they can run like horses. And sometimes we forget that we're zebras because we run like a horse. The men are horses and they're off running and we kind of look like them, but we're not the same. We're zebras. And do you know why zebras have stripes? They have stripes because when they stand close to one another, it looks like there's a lot more of them than there really are. And it supercharges them as a group. And when you see a zebra, I always recommend you say to somebody, I see you. I'm going to stand alongside you because 1 + 1 is 5 when you stand together. And I commend you and I applaud you for making time to come together like this as a group of zebras who will you're going to show the way to the next generation. You're going to look bigger than you are because you're standing next to one another. And I think children should see people who look like them when they're looking to grow into what they want to be. And when I was in the Marine Corps, there were no women that were like me in the Marine Corps. I didn't have anybody to look toward. And I decided that I would grow and do that so I could be that for somebody else. And that's what you're doing. And so I just say, hello, zebras. I'm glad that you're here and that you're standing next to one another because you will look bigger and it will help the next group understand what to do next. So, Simona, I saw that you asked, what are the traditional things at BNI that are really important and what should be innovation? So, I love our value of traditions and innovations because they really do go hand in hand. So I have traveled the world over and probably attended about 70 meetings outside of my own chapter. I was just looking this morning, I've done 162 one-to-ones this year. So I am a chapter member. I think it's important to understand the member experience by experiencing it from myself. if I ran a hamburger company, I would eat a hamburger every day. Thank goodness I don't, because it would not be good for my waistline. But what I would recommend on traditions and innovations is all those meetings I went to, the meeting is the same. And that is, if you think about what is our competitive moat, there's two things that's very hard to copy, is that the discipline of the meeting and how the meeting goes. And no matter what language it's in, I sometimes wear AirPods that translate for me. I always know what's happening. I know what's happening next. This is when we do this next. This is when we do our referrals and testimonials. This is when we do that the word discipline, the root of the word discipline means to learn. And by following that discipline in the meeting, that's the tradition. That is very hard to copy across a global scale. When you take the discipline of that with the global scale of how big we are, it's near impossible to copy us. And we need to keep that tradition. Where we will innovate is ways that we connect. Where do we connect? Locally. I always like that term, local and global. Where will we connect globally? How will we put tools in your hands, whether it's AI tools? You're going to see, we just launched mybni.com, which puts all of your technology in one place for BNI. You can go look at that when you're ready, mybni.com. And it has Business Builder and BNI Plus and BNI Connect and the insights, all of those things you use in one place. So we will continue to maximize technology, use tools to help us better connect, better use, share the word out to BNI. And then we will keep safe that meeting that is so important to what we do. Michaela, I see that you asked me what was my biggest aha moment. So I hadn't been in a chapter for probably 25 years. So first of all, when I was last in a chapter, we had slips that were on carbon paper, and you'd write it out and you give one slip to the president of the chapter or to the treasurer secretary. I think one you would keep and one would go up to headquarters. So seeing the app and the technology was really cool to see. My aha moment was how the chapter meeting goes is very similar to what it was 30 years ago, and it works. And we forget how powerful that is because we do it every single week, so it makes us forget. But it was a very big aha for me, but that's a big part of our competitive mode. I always look for what can we do that we do better than anybody else that's very hard to copy. And people always look for fancy things. It's not the fancy things. It's the everyday discipline things that are hard to copy. And so that was a big aha for me. I see Sabine, I see your hand up. Would you like to ask a question?
Yes, in fact, I would like to ask whether among the technical improvements, will there be also an international improvement on the visitor application system? Because I tried to network internationally and I found out everything is nice because everybody is very helpful. And then in some chapters in other countries, you can't actually apply as a visitor to the online chapter, but you have to actually contact somebody from the chapter to ask them to send you an invite. And it would be very helpful if you could just, register as a visitor.
So there are a couple of places that we're doing some upgrading on our system. That's one. One is we're going to have auto renewal so that once you put it in, when you come up, it'll just say, if you're ready to renew, press this button and everything will be done and make it easy for you. One of the features that I'm not crazy about that we have, I don't think our search feature is as robust as it should be, especially when I want to look globally. So I do a lot of global travel, and I might want to find a private driver, in a town, if I want to take a trip somewhere. I want to be able to just put in, I'm going to Berlin, I'm looking for a private driver, show me the people. So it's going to take us about 6 months what we're working on. We're about 2 months ahead of schedule on our technology roadmap, which is a miracle because technology roadmaps are hard to keep on schedule. And Sabine, part of that is in how the visitors get put in, how the application gets put in, how the pay. We're partnering with a pay company that will make it so much easier so that people can pay by various methods, to include Venmo and PayPal and all of that. And then the other thing we're doing is, I know many of you use WhatsApp. I'm a huge WhatsApp user. We're going to create a WhatsApp inside of BNI Connect so that you can use it right inside the app, to keep it all so that the chapter, when someone is added to a chapter or leaves a chapter, that group stays very, very tight to that. So that we will have that done early next year. So, and that's where you're going to see our innovation happening, is in that area. What we won't do is we're going to use AI. We're going to use it prolifically, and we're working with one of the best-in-class AI companies out there to help us build this. And we also have hired some AI specialists to help us do that. But we won't let any technology get in the middle of the relationship. We'll use it to enable the relationship, encourage the relationship. By the end of this year, you'll be able to go on and say, can you tell me what are the 3 best ways to do this in a chapter? And it will just come up and tell you. You don't have to go look at an operations manual. You don't have to watch a video. It will say, here's how it is. And if you'd like to learn more, click here and watch the video. And you can say, well, what about this? And it will answer you right on the spot. So that's already built out. We're in the process of launching that right now. So what else can I answer for anybody?
That sounds really great. Thank you for all the look a little bit insights. We have one more question, Anja. Oh
yes,
yeah.
Mary, I was wondering, you spoke about zebras and horses, and what would you recommend as a female chapter director? What would you recommend so that we can lead authentically while keeping all animals engaged and part of the herd?
Yes, because horses are important too. I don't want to ever say otherwise. We need both in our chapters. They're critically important. But there are a couple of books that have been very impactful to me as a leader. One is called The Servant by James Hunter. And it's about, and it kind of goes back to that early question about, do you plan to bring feminine values in? I don't know if this is a feminine value or not. I just know it's a leadership value, which is to lead with love and what it looks like. And I'm sure many of you are parents and you already know how to lead with love. Leading with love means not necessarily giving someone what they want, but giving them what they need. It's a great book that I highly recommend. And then another book that I've talked about quite a bit over the last year is The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. So referrals are based on trust. Leadership is based on trust. If you want to say to a group of people, come with me, I literally had to talk, 42 Marines into getting on a rope and rappelling off a helicopter. And I jumped out of airplanes in the Marine Corps, and I had to say to Marines, come with me. We're literally going to jump out of this plane. You have to have a lot of trust when you do that. And so as a leader, the Speed of Trust talks about how do you build trust as a leader? What does it look like? And not like up here philosophy, but right here, real world things you can do to build trust. And I'm a big believer that if you're going to ask people to do things they wouldn't normally do on their own and to expand their world, they have to know, feel, and believe that tomorrow can be bigger than today and how they fit in. And that's part of how you build trust. Thank you, Elizabeth, for recapping those for me. Appreciate that. Well, I do want to thank you for inviting me to your chapter meeting. It's great to see so many zebras today. I see you and I celebrate you, and go lead the way. Our children, both daughters and sons, need to see strong leaders, and it's important that we do that.
Yes, of course. So it's so I hope that all the ladies here can feel your energy and your spirit, because I was so flashed when I see you live in the beginning of the year. at our meeting, and it was so special for me. And that as shows I use it also and say, can you come to our Zoom meeting? And you say, of course, I will come.
Of course.
But the really big thing is you will spend next year on the DACON. You will be
Yes.
live in Germany. So
Yes.
every people, they are here. You can come to Mainz and see Mary totally near and face by face. And she will
Yes.
take the minutes to talk with you. If she have time or if she
I
is
will make the
roundabout,
time for you.
because she
I'm
loves to
I'm
talk
much
with new
shorter
people. Yeah.
I'm much shorter in real life. I'm not very tall. But when you meet me, I'm going to leave you with this thought. Ask me, this is a CEO pin. This is a pin you can only get by meeting me in person, and you have to ask for it. And I love it because it's great and big and it looks great on video calls and on stage. But also, it's shaped like a diamond for a reason. And I'll leave you with this thought for the day. I don't know about you, but I want to be a diamond. I want to be strong and brilliant and sometimes sparkly. And it takes a diamond to cut a diamond. And I wear things that are diamond shaped to remind me that I want to surround myself with diamonds, because who I am today and who I will be 5 years from now, there's only two things that are going to change where I go 5 years from now. That's the people I surround myself with and the books I read. And so I wear this to remind myself that BNI is a group of diamonds. We polish one another. We make one another brilliant and sparkly and smart and strong. And surround yourself with diamonds, because that will make the biggest difference in where you go next. And then ask me for a CEO pin when you see me in person.
I will.
Yes,
I will.
yes.
Thank you very much. So we have big, really good pictures in our mind now, the zebras and the diamonds. So we are sparkling zebras for the future.
Yes.
I would say. Thank you very, very much for your time. I think you have to leave now.
Unfortunately, I do, but I did not want to miss talking and sharing with all of you. Thank you so much for what you do, for the leadership you provide, for the changes that you're making in the world. Because if we're going to change the way the world does business, it's going to take every single one of us. So thank you so much. I wish you the best. I look forward to seeing you next year in .com.